Hey guys, this is Jason with MuseGrid.com, and in this video I'm going to give you a quick overview of the design kit and all of the moving pieces. Now, this video assumes that you've already installed the design kit and the Elegant Icons font. So if you haven't done that, go back to our installation video, start there, and then come back to this overview video. But if you have done that, let's get started. So what you'll see right now is I'm actually in the master page of the starter file that we provided to you, which is here. So we're going to open up our master page and we're going to go over to our library. So inside this library you'll see there's a whole host of various, technically they're widgets, but in reality what they are is a grouping of ready-made responsive design patterns or sections that you can drag and drop out and quickly build your site in no time at all, but not lose any of the flexibility to design it however you want. But first things first, you may be the person who comes in and starts building your breakpoints out, but I would say that most of you come from the standpoint of you have a blank screen here, and now you're just going to come over here and start adding text or rectangles or images and all of that stuff, and just start kind of like messing around and building with your site. The problem is that when you've got it looking good on this particular view and you start adding breakpoints, it goes all crazy on you, and it feels like it takes forever to get a site created because of all of the what we call breakpoint madness. So what we're going to do first is we're going to start by actually creating all of our breakpoints right off the bat, but we're going to make this crazy easy. We have this thing called a breakpoint maker. And over here, when you use any of these widgets over here, what you need to do is make sure that you always drag them from the create breakpoints icon. Okay, so what this will do is this will make sure that all of the content will be put in place correctly across each breakpoint. So make sure that you select this here, and we're going to drag and drop and drag it up to our breakpoints bar, and we're just going to simply drop it. And literally in milliseconds, what it just did was created all of the breakpoints that we're going to use across our entire design kit. It's that simple. Now, you put a little rectangle on page. We're simply going to delete that. We don't need that rectangle to be on page. And you'll also notice that we're using fixed breakpoints across the board here. This one's fluid, but it's only because by default, Muse creates fluid breakpoints when you create a new page. So we're just going to simply right-click on it and go to an uncheck fluid width. Now we have all fixed breakpoints across the board. The reason why we do this, use fixed breakpoints, is because we want to make sure that you still have the ability to use scroll effects, which are only available to you using fixed breakpoints. If you insist on using fluid breakpoints, you absolutely can. What we've done inside of our kit is try to pre-position fluid either left or right or center on every object in our kit the best that we could, so that if you did want to use fluid breakpoints, you absolutely could do that. You just need to make a few adjustments. But in our case, we're going to work from fixed breakpoints. Now that we have our breakpoints created on our master page, typically when you start with a website, you start with the navigation or the header section. So what we've done is we've included an entire navigation system already pre-built in. So what we're going to do is we're going to click here from our responsive breakpoint icon, and we're going to drag and drop up to the upper left hand corner. Okay, now that we have that on page, okay, what we need to do is actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo that. Okay, I want to show you something different here. I'm going to undo that. I'm going to stay at my 1200, and I'm actually going to drag and drop it out from my 1200. Okay, because I found that it's actually always best to start with your topmost breakpoint. In our case, it's 1200, and drag and drop it out from there, and then the rest of your breakpoints kind of fall in line. I don't know if you noticed, I was on my 960 and I drag and dropped it out, and I went to my 1200 and it was actually out of place. Well, that's why we start from our 1200. Okay, so here we are, and out of the box right now, we have a full end-to-end navigation system. Now we have to do a little bit of work in order to get this exactly the way that we want, but here's what we're going to do. First things first, always work with layers. Layers are your friend. I have everything selected on the page right now, and I'm going to come to layers, and you'll notice that the only layer we have in here is the one that was in here by default, called Style Guide. So we're going to add a new layer, and we are going to rename this navigation. Okay, just like so. we're going to right click out here now, because since we have everything selected, and we're going to move to our navigation layer, just like that. Okay, so now it's isolated off and we can control it by hiding it or locking it or what have you. Okay, so that was step one. So step two then is what we want to do is identify that on our 1200, 1100, 960, we have both a main navigation up here as well as the elements that make up the mobile navigation. Now, most people, I think, are going to use the main navigation on their upper breakpoints. But if you want, you can actually just use the mobile navigation across your entire website. In the case that you would want to do that, all you would need to do is either come in here and just delete this navigation or right click and hide in breakpoint. Okay? But what we're going to do is on our first top 3 breakpoints, we're actually going to hide the mobile navigation because we don't need it. So I'm going to select my breadcrumb menu here. I'm going to hold down the Shift key and I'm going to select my slide out menu. And I'm going to right click and hide in breakpoint. So what that is now 960 hide in breakpoint. But look at our 1100. We still got to do it here, right? So there we're going to select that, hold down the Shift key and select our menu, right click and hide in breakpoint. And then right at our 1200 we'll do the same exact thing one more time and we're going to hide in breakpoint. Okay, so right now what we have is we have a functioning navigation system, and then on our lower breakpoints we have the mobile navigation in place. Now, one of the things about our mobile navigation is you'll notice that this slide out menu here is kind of in the way, right? I mean, we want to design stuff inside of our site, so we really don't want this big old honking, menu hanging around on our canvas. So with ours, you can actually drag it off the canvas and it'll still work. What you have to make sure that you do is just drag it all the way off the canvas out here, but always make sure that it's top aligned right up here to the top of your page. That's really important. So notice that it's not now, it's not there, and whenever I do it, it'll turn red, boop, just like that. And now you know you're in the right spot. So our 768 is in good shape, okay? Our 550, we're just going to drag it off the canvas just like that. And then at our 380, we're going to do the same thing and drag it off of our canvas just like that. Okay, just like so. All right, so here we are. We've got our navigation system in place. We're only a few minutes into this video, and I'm even walking through and explaining this to you. Imagine how fast you'll go by just doing it yourself really quickly. Now, before I move on, and before we preview this, I want to just point out something that should be obvious, but I'm going to say it anyway. Everything that you see on screen right now is native Muse elements. They're all native Muse elements. So this is a text frame. This is an image frame. This is actually a state button with stuff inside of it, such as an image frame and a text frame and a menu, and so on and so forth. This is all native Muse stuff, and of course the other menu on the upper breakpoints is as well. That is the essence of our design kit, is we want to try to stay as pure to Muse as we possibly can, but then add value to it. You also notice this little icon down here. Okay, this little icon is actually a custom widget that takes care of the sliding in and out. It's just some basic options that it gives to you that kind of handles that extra little piece that when you do click this menu item up here, the hamburger menu, that it slides in and out and takes care of that item. But that's really the only piece that's unique to this setup. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to File, Preview Page in Browser. And what you'll find is instantaneously is here we have a navigation system that is now responsive across all 6 breakpoints, okay? And here we are, we're going to slide out a navigation menu in, we're going to close it, we can open it and close it from here. What you'll also find too is, and this is something that's unique with our widgets that we use, is that in this case, this side menu is breakpoint aware. And what that means is that imagine that you're looking at a website in portrait view and you navigate and you rotate your phone and go to landscape view. Well, in this case, maybe it's more like a landscape view, but I'm going to go down to portrait, and you'll notice that as I transition between breakpoints, the menu stays open. It doesn't close. This is actually a pretty interesting development in the context of the Muse space based on how Muse handles responsive. So this is a pretty big deal. So here I'm going to close it out, and there you go. So this is looking great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this out, and we're going to come back to our page here, and we're going to now go add a footer. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and get this footer going. So we're going to go to our library, and now while the breakpoint maker and the navigation are kind of like pinned up here to the top a little bit to make it nice and easy to get started, the rest of the content sections are all kind of like alphabetically ordered. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down here closer to the bottom and notice that there are a few footers that we've pre-created for you. So you can kind of see a little bit of the context of it in this thumbnail image up here at the top, but at least it gives you a little bit of an idea. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use this very, very simple footer that is footer number 3. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here and I'm going to drag and drop it out onto my canvas. Now before I do anything, I'm going to use a best practice here, and I have everything selected. I'm going to go to my layers. I'm going to right click, add a layer, and I'm going to rename this to footer, just like that. And I'm going to drag it up underneath my navigation, okay, because that's the order by which it should go. Now I'm going to right click, I'm going to add to the footer layer. Okay, so now we can isolate things off. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to do this just yet. I'll do this in a second. So here's what I'm going to do. Now that the footer is out on page, I need to now move it around in place to get it just right. So for me, a best practice is I'm going to take my footer guide and I'm going to drag it all the way up. By the way, in the navigation a while ago, I didn't go over this, but you have the header guide as well. What we've done in our example is we have, I don't know why that's not moving. Okay, oh yeah, it's not moving because my footer guide is too high. Okay, there you go. So what we've done is we've kind of pre-created the starter file to have your header guide about the same height as the navigation that we have here. But again, you would just need to make sure that you set your header guide to denote where the bottom of your header should be in relation to your web pages. So we're going to drag this all the way up just like so to reduce down the amount of space here. We are going to select, click, and look, there is a vertical move handle. If you are not familiar with this vertical move handle, this is your new best friend. So what we're going to do is select this. What this means is when we start dragging up now, it will drag all of the content that is contained in and below that object that we've just selected. So in this case, it's the rectangle. And we're going to drag it all the way up to there. And we're going to grab our bottom of page guide and we're going to drag it all the way up to the bottom here, just like that. Okay, just like so. Boom, just like that. All right, so now what we need to do is we actually need to go to our 1100. And you'll notice, hang on, the footer is kind of at the top of the page right now. What the heck is going on here? Okay, so Muse, when you drag and drop items out on the screen just like this, one of the things that Muse can do is the positioning of where things should be is not going to be intact. This is also why we add layers. Okay, so if you came in here and you just started dragging stuff, you're most likely going to grab the rectangle for the header and drag it out of place, and you're going to become frustrated really fast. But watch this. Number one is I really don't have to do anything other than just grab my vertical move and just move it all down. But as a best practice, once you're done working on something, you come over into your layers and you just lock it. So in my case, I'm going to lock my navigation. And look, I can't do anything with it, right? So if I have some objects that show up underneath my navigation and I need to get them out of there, well, I can just grab them now because now it won't mess with anything here in my navigation. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my footer guide and I'm going to drag it all the way to the top. I'm going to grab my vertical move and move it there, and I'm going to grab my bottom of page and I'm going to simply just pull it up to the bottom. I'm going to do that same thing on my 960, so here you go. We're going to grab our vertical move it down. We're going to grab our footer guide, move it up as high as we can. We're going to then take that, move it there, and then grab our bottom of page and move it to the bottom just like so. There you go. We're going to grab our 768 and we are going to grab our footer guide, drag it all the way to the top. And look, so wait, I deselected my rectangle here. Now it's going to be hard for me to like get rid of all this, right? No, you just select the rectangle and grab your vertical move your vertical move handle, and you drag it into place. Nice and easy, just like that. Then we're going to take our bottom of the page and we're going to move it up. Now, one thing to note, if you don't take this little side menu here and move it off of your canvas, your bottom of page will only come this far because it'll still be on your canvas. But if you drag it off your canvas like this, you can actually pull it all the way up, which is a really nice feature. So we're going to grab our 550. We're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to grab our footer guide, drag it to the very top just like that. We're going to grab our vertical move, drag it down like that, and then grab our bottom of page and drag it up just like that. Beautiful, nice, and in place. And then last, but certainly not least, we're going to do the same thing on our 380, and we're going to drag this into place. Tell me how easy this is. This is just simple because you can just drag these things into place. And it just all works out of the box. Okay, so here we are. We've dragged that into place, and there you go. Nice and easy. Boom. And I don't know. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, actually, one thing we need to do before I show you. One thing that we've included in, it's a little extra widget that we've included in every one of our footers because we find it to be very valuable, is we've included this little thing right here called a smart copyright. Now, this icon that you see here won't show up when the page renders, but what it will do is it just gives you a little visual indicator of how you go in and make some adjustments here. So what I've done, or what we've done here, is over here in our copyright, this date right here has a specific character class assigned to it, or character style. So here we're going to go to our character styles, and you'll notice that because I have this selected, the copyright character style has already been selected. Okay? And what that allows it to happen is for us to target that particular element inside the copyright. So by default, you don't have to do anything because the copyright classes are already created because you drag and drop them out and they were there. But if you wanted to change them, you could. I don't know why you'd ever want to do that, but you could. But what we do want to do is this year will always update no matter what to the current year. But what you can also do with a smart copyright is also include a start year. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say 2012 to 2017. That seems like a pretty easy, reasonable thing to do. So now that I've done that, I've made the change, hit enter, and now I just simply, on every breakpoint, this is now intact. So let's go here, File, Preview Page in Browser. And here you go, right? Nice and simple and easy. Let's see what happens here, right? Uh-oh, do you guys notice something? Look down at the bottom. Our footer looks messed up, right? Ah, that's because every once in a while, when you drag and drop some of these elements out, Muse can get a little squirrely on us every once in a while. But here's what happened, watch. So if I click this rectangle, you'll notice that up here in my resize bar, that it is not responsive. We need to make it say stretch the width of the browser. Now that we've done that, let's go File, Preview Page in Browser. By the way, I keep these little things in here, guys, because this is real life. This is really what happens when you're going in and building a website. Sometimes these little goofy things happen, and you need to kind of see how you can resolve them really quickly. So now, all of a sudden, we have it working, right? So it's stretching the full width of the browser, nice and simple and easy. So we'll just navigate this down just like so. It's looking really nice. So far, so good. Make sure that our menu's working. That's beautiful. Man, this is great. Okay, it's looking good. All right, so just like that, we're about 18 minutes into this video, and I've set and explained a bunch of stuff to you. Had I not done that, I could have probably completed this task in about 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, this is pretty cool so far. So I'm going to close that down, and what we're going to do now is we're going to go to our home page. Okay, actually, before we do that, there's one other thing I want to point out, is that you'll notice that we're using icons here. Do you remember when we installed the Elegant icons? Well, we're actually using Elegant icons here. So notice that when you select this, actually I need to go unlock my layer, right? So I'm trying to work with my navigation and it's locked. So now it's unlocked. You'll notice that this is a text frame. All this is a regular text frame, which means that I can use my text panel to manipulate everything. Such as, for example, I can come in here and make it orange if I want. Or I can maybe change the size of it if I want to maybe something really large. I'm going to leave mine down at 48 and squeeze it back down again. Actually, just undo that because I don't want that in there. But you get the idea. Like you can come in here and change all of that because we're actually using an icon font across the board. You can do the same thing here. One thing about this menu that you can also do, it's kind of like the copyright widget, is if, for example, you wanted to come in here in your menu and say, yeah, this icon's cool, but I actually want to say the word menu. menu, just like that. Now granted, I'm no designer, so you got to work with me here a little bit. This is not going to look great, but it'll function. You guys are all designers. You'll make it look fantastic. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to get out of that, and I'm going to actually just change the fill on this just so we can see it. It's going to look ugly. And I'm going to change the text on it to be white so we can just see it. Kind of looks like a button, I guess. Maybe a bad button, but you get the idea. But what I want to do is I want that text to control the opening and closing of this menu. So all I have to do is this. I have it selected just like so. And see this little icon right down here? This is a widget that controls the opening and closing of this menu. You'll notice that the opening and closing class name is called OpenClose. So if all I do, and you'll notice that actually if this close button here, also if I go down to my character styles, actually it's, I'm sorry, graphic styles, what you'll see is that it has the OpenClose class assigned to it. Well, guess what? So does that. OpenClose class assigned to it. And so does this. And I think this is actually going to change the style of it maybe. Nope. Yeah, it will whenever I do this. Watch. Open, close, and it's going to make it look like the rest of this stuff here. So I actually need to go in here really quick and change that back so that we can actually see it. Okay. Now, it has that class assigned to it. So if I go in and I preview, oh, let me get out of this. If I go in here and preview page in browser, just like so, you'll now notice that and I didn't hide it in the upper breakpoints. That's why it's still showing there. Okay, so I'm going to come down here, and there you go. Now that it's here, watch. This opens and closes the menu. This opens and closes the menu too. So now you can now make any object inside your Muse site open and close the menu as long as you assign that character style to it. Or yeah, the character style to it. I'm sorry, the graphic style to it. That's what you want to assign. So that's a pretty cool little feature, and obviously we have the header and footer going here, and that's great. So now what I'm actually going to delete that out of there just because I don't want it to be a part of the rest of my demo here. Now what I want to do is I want to go to my home page, right? And I want to now start adding content to my home page. But guess what? I have to start from scratch, right? So this is a brand new web page that is using the A master to as the master page for it. So what I need to do is come into my library, go to my breakpoint maker. I'm going to drag from here and drop, and look, boop, there's all the breakpoints that have automatically been created now for this web page. We're going to right click on our 960 and hide there, or uncheck fluid. We're also, you see the breakpoint makers hanging out here at the top. We're just going to simply delete it because we don't need it on page. We just needed it to create our breakpoints. Now that we have all that set up and we have our breakpoints going, this is where the fun really happens. We've got our header and footer in. Now let's start adding content and see what happens. So we're going to go to our library, and we can literally use any of these content sections or design patterns, as we call them, in this whole kit to drag and drop out on a page, and they will respond, the content in them will respond across all 6 breakpoints flawlessly. So watch this. Now, we'll take a little bit of dragging and dropping work here, but that's all you have to do is just drag and drop. You don't have to worry about breakpoints. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to, let's see, let's find features. Let's find a section here. Let's go content forward. This is the one I love. For all the demos I've done, I continue to keep using this one because I love this content section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to drag from my breakpoint, and I'm going to drag it out to my page just like so. I'm going to drag it in the upper left-hand corner, and instantaneously it is in place. Now, here's the thing. If I go to my upper breakpoints, you'll see that it's kind of covering stuff up and all that. What mistake did I make? It's not really a mistake, it's just a preference really. I'm actually going to delete all of that stuff out, and I'm going to stay at my 1200 breakpoint and drag it out for my highest breakpoint. And now you'll watch what happens. So I'm going to go back down to my content 4, drag and drop out for my highest breakpoint now, drag that in, and you'll see that, man, instantaneously it snaps right into place right where we want, right? But while that's all selected, what am I going to do? I'm going to go to my layers, and I'm going to add a new layer, right? And I'm going to make this layer down here, move it underneath my navigation, and I'm going to rename this layer to, let's just call it Hero, for lack of a better section name. So it's called Hero, and I'm going to right click on it now, and I'm going to add a move to layer Hero, just like that. Okay. Now that I have that all in the hero section, what I need to do is just make sure that this is butted all the way up to the top, just like so. And I go across the rest of my breakpoints, and for the most part, automatically you'll see that it's all already in place, which is pretty nice. So just by dragging and dropping one element out and making sure that it's butted up all the way to the top of our menu, it's all ready to go. Looks pretty awesome, actually, just like out of the box. So let's just take a look and see what happens, right? So let's go to Preview Page in Browser. And here we are, we're like 25 minutes into this. So a little error message there that is looking for a file. That's really a non-issue. But look at this. We're 25 minutes into this, and I'm explaining a bunch of stuff, and here it is, back and forth. We're just that was easy, right? Now we have a really robust content section that actually has video built into it and everything that is just out of the box, ready to go, and beautiful. Okay? So let's add one more section here, and then we're going to do one more thing after that. So check this out. Now that we have this set, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into my layers, and I'm going to lock that layer. Okay? And there's a reason why I'm going to do that. And that is, I'm going to come down here. I'm going to add a little space down here at the bottom so I can just add some stuff here at the bottom. I'm going to go in here to my library, and I'm going to add another section. I'm just going to kind of choose something that, yeah, let's go with this. Let's go with this Content 2 section. Looks like a little, let's see what this is. So we'll drag and drop this thing out, just like so. And, oh, guess what? Uh-oh, I'm attempting to paste this into a section, into a layer that's been locked. Ah, there we go. So now what we need to do first is we're going to come into our layers. We are going to go to add our layer. We're going to rename this to, we're going to call it Timeline, just like so. All right, and we're going to drag this down underneath our hero, just like that. Now we have it selected. Now we can go back to our library again, and we'll see if we can't find that section one more time. I'll be lucky if I can find it. Okay, here we go. Content 2. So we're going to go here, and we're going to drag and drop this out, just like so, left aligned, and boom, there you go. Just like that. Okay, so now on our 1200, it's looking pretty good, and yeah, it's cool. It's a little timeline widget here. It's gonna be pretty awesome, I think. So, so here we are, we're at our 1280, and this is looking pretty good so far. So we're gonna be good with that. Let's go to our 1100, and you're gonna notice something. Uh-oh, what happened? Where's it go? It's actually hidden in behind your other layers. So notice our vertical scroll bar here at the top. What we're going to do is we're going to grab that. We're just going to drag it down just like so. This is where vertical scroll bar comes in very, very handy. I'm actually going to zoom out by hitting Command minus 2 times. And I'm going to actually drag this down. Look at this. There you go. Now we can see the whole thing a whole lot easier. So there you go. So there's my 1100 dragged into place. Now let's go to our 960. Yep, same problem. It's hung in behind there. Okay. So what we're going to do is just kind of grab a hold of our vertical scroll bar and drag it down just like so. Looked like it was kind of tucked in there at the top, so I just hit my shift key down a couple times, and that looked like to move it down a little bit. So shift key down, there we go. There's my vertical scroll bar. We're just going to drag that all the way down here to the bottom just like so. Go to our 550, same thing. Okay, there's our vertical handle. We're going to drag it down to there. And last but certainly not least, our 380. And, oh, there, okay, yep, so we're going to go shift down, and then grab our vertical handle. Going to drag it down here to the bottom, and look at that. Boom, there you go. So now we're going to do a quick little file preview page in browser. And what you're going to find is very, very quickly, we were able to put together a very robust homepage that has some pretty amazing content on it. Now, it all looks very plain and wireframe-like and what have you. Well, that's because it's by design. Now you get to pick up from here and go design this any way you want, or move it around, or do whatever it is that you want to go do. But check this out. Here's this little timeline item. You're not going to see this transition too terribly much, I don't think, because as I'm clicking on these items, it's the exact same verbatim content in each section. So what you would do is, you know, come in here and edit this content, and it would actually fade in, fade out between each one. But because it's identical content across the board, you really can't see it working back and forth. But this is a cool little timeline widget that's, you know, again, fully responsive here across the board, which looks out really great. So the last thing that I want to show you really quick is something that's also very important. Is obviously I've just built out one page here, but what we also want to do is the reality is you're going to have multiple pages, right? So we're going to come here and add a couple more pages here, okay? And we're going to rename this one to say About, We're going to rename this one to Services. We'll rename this one to Team, and we'll make this one Contact, just like that, okay? Now if we go back into our master page, and we go to our header up here at the top, and we go to our 1200, what you're going to see is you notice that these are not the same navigation items, and that's because we by default make them manual, just so something shows up on a blank website. Well, what you can do is come in here and go to top level pages just like that, and look, instantaneously it took on the shape of your actual website. And all you got to do is just, right align them again just like that, nice and easy. Right align it just like that, simple, and right align it just like that. Okay, there you go. Now, well, wait a minute. What about our mobile menu? Well, it's the same thing. Just click into it, just like so. Click here, go from manual to top level pages, and instantaneously it actually took on the actual navigation of your website. So if we go to File, Preview, Page in Browser, of course you'll see that we can navigate back and forth between the various pages. So right now we are, sorry, not the master page. Sorry guys. So go to File, Preview Site in Browser. That's probably a better option for us. All right, cool. So there's the little message, and now we have the home page. Okay, so here's our home page. Here's our about page. Here's our service page. Obviously, we have nothing on these inner pages yet, so they're not going to show up, right? So same thing. So here's my about page. I'll go back to my home page again. I'll scale down to a mobile view just to get an idea of what it looks like. Expand that out just like so. Well, let's just go to our services page. Cool. Well, let's go to our contact page. There you go. Cool. Or our home page. There you go. Nice and simple and easy. So there you go, guys. I mean, what we've done here in right at 30 minutes is do what would probably normally take you an entire day to go do, only because breakpoints can be challenging inside of Muse. Being able to use our design kit and just simply dragging and dropping content sections out that are already pre-created is a dream come true. And I'm not just saying that because we created it. I'm saying that because we actually use it, and we found it to be one of the most pleasant experiences that you can do. Now, one of the things that you can really look forward to as we continue to make progress and as a member is that we are going to always and consistently not only be updating our patterns that go into our design kit, but be adding new ones. Now, also, the other thing I didn't show you is that we actually have some widgets that will be coming out as well. Some really important widgets that are pretty normal stuff that you use on every website across the board. The navigation and the copyright are just two little ones that we had to have right out the gate to use. But we have a whole widget kit that's going to become available as well, and that as a MuseGrid club or as a MuseGrid member, you're just going to get access to, because that's how this membership works. So hopefully you found this overview video to be helpful, to give you some context, and hopefully you can envision using the design kit to build your next project in record time.